Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change and dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins that could be worth a fortune. Today we're talking about a coin that has shocked collectors and enthusiasts alike, the legendary 1970 Lincoln 1-cent coin that in certain rare conditions has sold for up to $25,000 and sometimes even more in private sales and auctions. Now you might be wondering how a single penny minted in 1970 with a simple Denver mint mark could command such an astonishing value, especially when its face value is just 1 cent. The answer lies in the complex world of mint errors, die varieties, historical minting anomalies, and the microscopic details that distinguish these incredibly rare cents from the billions of other similar coins in circulation. Let's begin by diving into the backstory of the 1970 penny and how such a mundane-looking piece of copper turned into one of the most sought-after era coins in American numismatic history. First, it's crucial to understand that in 1970 the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1-cent coins in Denver alone, with a total mintage exceeding 2.6 billion pieces. So for a single coin to emerge from such a massive production run and stand out as a numismatic superstar, it must exhibit something extraordinarily unusual and unique. One of the most fascinating errors found in some 1970 pennies is related to a doubled die variety, particularly on the obverse, which is the front of the coin where Lincoln's bust appears. Double die errors occur when the die itself, the metal stamp used to strike the blank coin planchets, is incorrectly manufactured during the hubbing process, which creates a visible doubling of design elements on the final struck coin. This doubling is not to be confused with machine doubling, which is much more common and significantly less valuable. A true doubled die exhibits strong separation between double design elements such as the lettering, the date, and sometimes even facial features. In the case of the 1970 doubled die obverse variety, collectors have reported extreme doubling in the date, with the digits of 1970 showing clear notching and separation, as well as doubled features in the word Liberty and the motto "I in God We Trust." When this doubling is strong and unmistakable, especially when verified under magnification or certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, the coin becomes incredibly desirable. But that's not all. Another layer of intrigue surrounding the 1970 penny involves coins that were mistakenly struck on proof planchets, or even foreign coin blanks. In some rare instances, the Denver Mint used leftover or misrouted proof planchets normally reserved for San Francisco minted proof coins. These planchets are of higher quality, more carefully prepared, and often have a shinier mirror-like finish than regular business strike coins. When a 1970 penny is discovered that was struck on such a proof planchet, it instantly becomes a prized possession, particularly when it has other features like full steps on the Lincoln Memorial or exceptional luster. Even more intriguing are the off-metal errors, such as 1970 cents struck on dime planchets, or even Canadian blanks. These errors can occur when a wrong planchet accidentally gets fed into the striking chamber and is then hit with the penny dies. The resulting coin will appear smaller, thinner, or of a different color due to the metal composition being off. For example, a coin struck on a 10-cent planchet would weigh less than a standard penny and may not show all design elements fully due to the smaller diameter. Another major error that can drive the value sky high is a striking misalignment, which includes off-center strikes where part of the design is missing because the blank wasn't properly centered beneath the dies. If a 1970 penny shows a dramatic off-center strike, especially if the date and mint mark are still fully visible and the coin remains in uncirculated condition, it becomes an even more spectacular find. Then there are die cap errors, brockage, broad strikes, and coins with clipped planchets. These types of errors are rare in any year, but when they occur in a coin as iconic as the 1970 they add exponential value for collectors and error specialists. In particular, brockage, where one struck coin gets stuck to the die and impresses its mirrored image onto the next coin, can create extremely dramatic visuals, and collectors will pay a premium for these unique, one-of-a-kind mistakes. Furthermore, the coin's value can significantly increase if it has been preserved in high grade, with many of the most expensive 1970 era cents being graded MS65 or higher by the top grading services. Coins in poor condition with similar errors can still be valuable, but it's the combination of condition, rarity, and the specific type of error that pushes these coins into the five-figure territory. The provenance, or History of the coin can also add to its value. Coins discovered in old bank rolls or original mint bags can sometimes be even more desirable, particularly if multiple examples of the same era are discovered in one hoard, sparking renewed interest and competition among collectors. In addition, there are small but critical diagnostics that specialists look for in authentic 1970D doubled dies, including the positioning of the mint mark relative to the date, which can help distinguish true doubled dies from mechanical or die deterioration. Doubling. When these diagnostic markers align with known and verified examples, collectors can feel more confident in investing significant amounts of money into a single cent. Let's not forget the element of mystery and discovery that surrounds era coins like these. With so many billions of pennies minted each year, it's inevitable that some strange and valuable mistakes will slip through the cracks, especially in earlier decades before modern quality control measures were as stringent as they are today, and the thrill of potentially finding a rare and valuable coin in circulation or tucked away in a family coin jar adds an emotional and adventurous appeal that cannot be overstated. Every collector dreams of discovering that one overlooked coin that could change their life, or at least earn them a serious payday, and the 1970D penny is one of those magical possibilities. Many of these era coins are found not by professional numismatists but by ordinary people who just happen to notice something odd about a coin in their change. A slightly off-center strike, strange doubling, or an unusual shine might catch someone's eye and lead to a discovery worth thousands. This democratization of collecting, where anyone can participate and potentially strike it rich, is a big reason why coins like the 1970D era penny are so exciting to talk about and so fun to hunt for. And the value of these coins is not just in their monetary worth but in their educational and historical significance. They tell a story about the minting process, about human error, about the limitations of machinery and oversight at the mint, and they offer a tangible connection to a moment in history when something went ever so slightly wrong, and that small mistake ended up creating something spectacularly rare and valuable. This is why collectors pore over coin rolls with magnifying glasses, why they scour eBay and estate sales and attend coin shows across the country, looking for that elusive gem that stands out from the rest. It's the hunt, the thrill, the knowledge, and the hope that maybe, just maybe, the next coin they examine might be the one. And if that coin happens to be a 1970D penny with the right combination of doubling, mis-strikes, off-metal composition, and mint state condition, then they just might be holding a tiny copper ticket to a 5-figure payday. So next time you're going through your pocket change or cleaning out that old coin jar, remember the story of the 1970D Lincoln cent, and how a seemingly ordinary penny can turn out to be an extraordinary and highly valuable era coin. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to check your change. You never know what incredible discoveries might be waiting just beneath the surface. With a little patience, a good eye, and a bit of numismatic knowledge, the next valuable penny could be in your very own hands. And the legend of the 1970D 1-cent coin worth $25,000 is proof that sometimes the smallest details can lead to the biggest rewards. And now let's move on to another astonishing coin that has stunned collectors and turned heads in the numismatic world, the 1960 Lincoln 1 cent, a modern-day coin that, under very specific conditions and due to extremely rare mint errors, has reached prices as high as $15,000, making it yet another hidden treasure that could be hiding right in plain sight inside your change jar, coin roll, or pocket. And this is precisely the kind of coin that demonstrates how even relatively recent mintages can carry incredible value when the right set of error factors and rarity converge. So buckle up, because the story behind the 1960 penny is as exciting and surprising as any mystery thriller. Beginning with the basics, this coin was minted in Denver in 1996, and on the surface, it appears to be just another ordinary Lincoln cent bearing the same portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design used consistently from 1959 through 2008. But as we dig deeper, we find that in rare cases this coin is anything but ordinary, thanks to some extremely uncommon errors and die anomalies that have made select specimens of this coin worth thousands upon thousands of dollars in auctions and private sales. The primary source of the 1960 penny's extraordinary value lies in certain examples that exhibit dramatic and unmistakable double dies, particularly on the obverse side of the coin, where you can see obvious signs of doubling in areas like the date, the mint mark, the word liberty, and especially the motto "I in God we trust." What makes a double die error so special is that it originates at the die level rather than being a result of post-mint damage or simple mechanical shifting. True double die errors occur when the die used to strike the coin has been improperly manufactured during the hubbing process, causing doubled or overlapping images to be transferred onto the struck coin. If you look at high-value examples of the 1996 D double die obverse under magnification, the doubling is typically strong and clearly defined, not just a blurred or flattened shadow like in machine doubling, which is vastly more common but significantly less valuable. These specific double die coins have been authenticated and certified by major grading companies and are widely sought after by error collectors because of both their rarity and the sharp clarity of the error. In some cases, the doubling on the date and lettering is so prominent that it can be spotted even without a loupe, and when a coin combines this dramatic doubling with high-grade preservation such as mint state conditions MS65 or higher, the value skyrockets into the tens of thousands of dollars territory. Now let's talk about another error that's been reported on this coin which has collectors buzzing: the transitional and off-metal errors. In a few extremely rare cases, 1996 pennies have been found struck on incorrect planchets such as foreign coin blanks or even blanks meant for other U.S. denominations. This means that a Lincoln cent die was used to strike a planchet that had the wrong metal composition or size, and when such a mismatch happens, it creates a truly unique coin that instantly draws attention from specialists and collectors. For instance, a coin struck on a planchet meant for a dime would appear lighter in weight and slightly smaller in diameter, and it might even appear silvery due to the different metal content. These off-metal errors are very difficult to detect without weighing the coin or examining it closely, but once discovered and verified, they are often considered one-of-a-kind collectibles, and they command prices that reflect their extreme rarity. In addition to doubled dies and off-metal errors, another factor that can make the 1996 D penny extremely valuable is a misaligned die strike, or an off-center strike. When the planchet is not perfectly aligned between the dies, the resulting strike can be partially off the coin's surface, resulting in a dramatic visual misprint that can be especially valuable when the date and mint mark are still visible. Even more interesting are examples where the coin has been struck multiple times or where die rotation has occurred, causing the obverse and reverse designs to be misaligned when flipped over. These errors are so rare in modern coins that they create significant demand when they appear, especially on coins as recent as 1996, because collectors often assume that modern minting technology has eliminated such mistakes, but as history has shown, no mint is perfect, and even today rare and valuable errors can slip through the cracks and end up in circulation, further boosting the value of a 1996 era penny. Is the coin's overall condition and grade. A coin that has survived nearly 3 decades in pristine condition without scratches, discoloration, or heavy wear is already uncommon. Add a rare error to that, and the value climbs exponentially. High-grade examples, especially those in mint state red condition with full original luster and no carbon spotting, are extremely desirable, and grading services will often assign a premium for coins that combine high technical grade with rare errors, making them perfect candidates for auction or investment portfolios. And let's not forget about another major contributing factor to a coin's value, which is population rarity. When only a handful of examples of a specific error or die variety are known to exist, the competition among collectors for ownership becomes fierce and the prices are driven up significantly. Coins with certified populations in the single digits are considered especially scarce, and if the coin is well publicized through auction houses or numismatic publications, that visibility only adds to its fame and demand. This is exactly what happened with certain 1996 pennies with prominent double dies or off-metal errors, which have made headlines and appeared in well-known coin forums, blogs, YouTube videos, and even coin dealer catalogs as must-have pieces for serious error collectors. And beyond the technical and financial aspects, there's a romantic and mysterious allure to coins like the 1996 penny, because they serve as physical reminders of how even the most sophisticated systems can produce anomalies, how chance and oversight can create unexpected beauty and value, and how a coin you thought was ordinary might just change your life with one small error that makes it extraordinary. The fact that this coin is from the 1990s and not some ancient historical mintage means that many of these rare errors could still be out there waiting to be discovered by sharp-eyed collectors or curious hobbyists combing through their change or searching bank rolls, and this opens up a whole world of possibility for everyday people to participate in the thrilling treasure hunt of modern coin collecting, because the next time you're sorting through a pile of pennies you just might come across a 1990 with an error so rare and valuable it could fetch $15,000 or more on the market, and that's the kind of discovery that turns casual curiosity into lifelong passion and reminds us all that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest surprises. So always stay vigilant, look closely at every coin you come across, check the date, the mint mark, and any signs of doubling, odd coloration, misalignment, or unusual thickness, because the 1990 Lincoln penny is proof that modern coins can hold immense value and that history can repeat itself in the most profitable ways. Thanks for staying with us and learning about yet another incredible coin that might just be hiding in plain sight. Don't forget to keep checking your pocket change, because the next fortune might be 1 cent away. And now we move on to a truly mind-blowing coin in the world of error collecting, one that has astonished even seasoned numismatists and continues to command astronomical prices whenever it appears at auction: the elusive and incredibly valuable 1968 Lincoln 1 cent that, under certain extremely rare and specific error conditions, has sold for as much as $50,000. A number that seems almost surreal for a coin with a face value of just a single cent, but this jaw-dropping value is absolutely real and justified when you dive into the mechanics of how such an extraordinary piece came to exist, and what sets it so far apart from the hundreds of millions of ordinary 1968 pennies that were produced during that era. So let's explore what makes this particular coin one of the holy grails of modern U.S. era coinage, starting with its historical context. The 1968 penny was struck at the Denver Mint in a year of transition and change for the U.S. Mint as it continued to phase out silver from coinage and ramp up production following the removal of mint marks from some denominations during the mid-1960s. By 1968, mint marks returned to coins including the humble cent, and the Denver Mint struck well over 2 billion Lincoln cents that year, making it one of the most common issues at face value. But as is often the case, the value lies not in the quantity, but in the anomalies, and in this case we are looking at a tiny fraction of 1968 pennies that exhibit breathtaking double die obverse errors so rare and dramatic that they have made headlines and become centerpieces in elite collections. Now let's dive into the error itself, which in this case revolves around an exceptionally bold and unmistakable double die on the obverse of the coin where Abraham Lincoln's portrait resides. This is not subtle or marginal doubling that requires a microscope to confirm, but rather dramatic separation and shadowing in the date, the mint mark, the word liberty, and the national motto, "I in God we trust," the kind of doubling where you can practically see two versions of each letter and number slightly staggered apart due to a major misalignment during the die creation process. What makes the 1968 double die obverse even more special is that it is one of the very few double dies from the 1960s era that is this extreme, and also comes from the Denver Mint, which historically produced fewer high-profile double dies than its Philadelphia and San Francisco counterparts, and this geographical rarity adds another layer of desirability, since most major double dies from the 60s, like the famous 1969 double die or the 1972 double die obverse, were from mints other than Denver, making any dramatic double die from the D Mint exceptionally collectible. In addition to the double die errors, there have also been reports and authenticated examples of the 1968 D penny struck on foreign or off-metal planchets, which further elevate the coin's desirability. Coins struck on incorrect planchets often appear with different coloration, such as silvery or golden hues due to incorrect metal compositions, or may be lighter or heavier than standard due to planchet size differences. For example, a coin struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet would not only have a different appearance but would often not show the full design due to the smaller surface area, all of which makes them standout pieces at coin shows and auction houses. And when authenticated by top-tier grading services, these off-metal errors can sell for several $1,000s on their own, but when combined with something like a double die or another mint error, the value can explode exponentially. What's even more fascinating is that there are examples of 1968 pennies with multiple error layers, such as a double die combined with an off-center strike, or a die cap error where a previously struck coin becomes stuck to the die and imprints its mirror image onto subsequent planchets. These types of dramatic compound errors are nearly impossible to replicate, and each one is effectively a unique piece of minting history. But now let's talk about the value ceiling. Why would a 1968 penny command up to $50,000 in the right scenario? The answer lies in a perfect storm of factors that align to create the ultimate collector's coin, starting with condition. If a 1968 double die obverse penny is discovered in a high mint state grade like MS65, MS66 or higher, and especially in red designation, which means the coin retains its original bright red copper luster from the time it was minted, it can become a five-figure coin immediately, especially when population reports from PCGS or NGC confirm only a tiny number of such coins have been certified at those top grades. Rarity in high condition multiplies value tenfold, and beyond. Then there's eye appeal. Collectors pay premiums for coins that not only are rare but also look sharp and dramatic to the naked eye. Strong contrasts, clean fields, deep strikes, and visible doubling all contribute to a coin's desirability. And then there's provenance. If a coin has a notable backstory, such as being discovered in a famous hoard or having passed through the hands of a legendary collector or dealer, that history adds intangible but real value to the coin's market worth. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers have reported examples of rare 1968 double die or off-metal cents that generated bidding wars due to their prominence in the numismatic community. Another detail to consider is how difficult it is to discover these coins. The vast majority of 1968 pennies look normal to the naked eye, and most people never think to examine them closely, meaning that even after decades in circulation, these rare examples may still be hiding in old coin rolls, inherited collections, or forgotten piggy banks, and that creates an exciting possibility for collectors and enthusiasts today to still stumble upon one in the wild, which is part of the enduring appeal of rare error coins. The idea that a life-changing discovery could be sitting unnoticed in a box in your attic or in a coin jar at your grandparents' house adds a real sense of treasure hunting to the hobby. And when a coin like the 1968 penny can reach values as high as $50,000, that's not just hype. That's a confirmed reality supported by auction results, grading certifications, and numismatic authority publications. These coins are cataloged in guides, referenced in coin error databases, and shown off at trade shows, where their value is not only recognized but continues to increase over time as demand for rare modern errors grows and as more collectors enter the market hoping to add a unicorn coin like this to their collection. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, now is the perfect time to examine those older pennies in your possession, especially 1968 examples. Look for signs of dramatic doubling, look for off-metal coloration, odd weight, strange feel or design, alignment issues, and if you spot anything that looks suspicious or extraordinary, it's worth getting the coin evaluated by a professional coin grading service, because what you're holding might just be one of the rarest modern cents in existence. A 1968 era coin so rare and valuable it could turn an ordinary day into an unforgettable one and potentially bring you tens of thousands of dollars richer in the process. It's a shining example of why numismatics is one of the most exciting hobbies and markets in the world, where history, metal, and human error combine to create artifacts of immense financial and historical value. And the next time you're sorting through pennies, remember the 1968 and that hidden fortune may be right at your fingertips. And now let's uncover the story of another incredibly rare and valuable modern Lincoln cent that has captured the attention of collectors and error specialists worldwide. The astonishing 1988 Lincoln 1 cent that, under very specific and rare error conditions, has been known to fetch up to $17,000 or more on the open market. A truly shocking price for a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about as it passes through their hands in daily transactions. But as we've seen time and time again in the world of numismatics, even the most ordinary-looking coin can become a priceless gem when a unique error, a rare die variety, or a transitional anomaly is involved, and the 1988 penny is one of those very coins that proves this reality. Once again minted at the Denver Mint in 1988 during a period when the U.S. Mint was still producing Lincoln cents using zinc-coated copper-plated planchets, which had become the standard since the major composition change of 1982. The 1988 Lincoln cent typically features the familiar obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln and the reverse depiction of the Lincoln Memorial as designed by Frank Gasparo and used from 1959 through 2008. But what turns some examples of this seemingly mundane coin into high-dollar collectibles is one of the most fascinating transitional design errors ever discovered in Lincoln cent history, known as the 1988 D reverse of 1989 error. This highly specific die variety results from a mix-up during the production process where the obverse die from 1988 was accidentally paired with a reverse die that had the design elements intended for the 1989 cent. Specifically, the key identifier on these rare coins lies in the formation of the initials, FG, which stand for Frank Gasparo and are located near the right side of the base of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse of the coin. In normal 1988 D pennies, the initials are slightly separated from the base of the memorial and appear faint and a bit further away, but on the 1989 reverse design, the initials are bold and tightly nestled right up against the base, and that slight change marks the beginning of an entirely new master die design intended for the following year. Somehow, a small number of 1988 D pennies were struck using this updated reverse design meant for 1989, creating an incredibly scarce transitional variety that was not intended for circulation. And that only came to light years later when dedicated collectors noticed the subtle but important differences and began documenting them in detail. Once authenticated and verified by major grading services such as PCGS or NGC, the value of these transitional reverse errors soared because collectors love transitional coins, especially when the mint unintentionally used a design element from the next year on a previous year's coin, and when those errors are found in high grades like MS65 or better with full red luster and sharp detail, they become major collectibles that command thousands of dollars at auction, and in some cases private sales have reached up to $17,000 for particularly pristine specimens with the transitional reverse and high visual appeal. Now, what makes this particular error even more exciting is that it's one of those rare cases where a mistake occurred not from a mechanical striking error but from a misapplication of the wrong die pairing at the design and die production level, which means that every genuine example of a 1988 D reverse of 1989 penny is essentially a miniature piece of minting history showing exactly where and how a transition in coin design quietly took place without public awareness at the time. And as with all high-value era coins, population scarcity plays a huge role. Very few of these transitional design errors have been officially graded and recognized, meaning the number of authenticated examples floating around the collector market is incredibly low. And when you combine that low population with rising demand from both error specialists and modern coin collectors, you get a perfect storm of value appreciation. Another factor boosting the 1988 D penny's worth is its modern origin, because it represents an era that occurred in the post-copper era when many collectors assumed the quality control at the mint had improved significantly. But the presence of a transitional die era like this proves that even with modern minting practices, critical oversights can still occur and create incredibly rare outcomes, which adds to the mystique and excitement of the hunt for these coins. Now, to the untrained eye, the 1988 D transitional reverse error might look no different than an ordinary penny, which is part of what makes it so thrilling for collectors, because the key diagnostic feature is small and specific, requiring close examination and knowledge of the distinguishing details. It's that hunt that adds a sense of mystery and opportunity to the process, as everyday coin hunters pore through rolls of 1988 D pennies in hopes of spotting that one rare specimen where the FG initials are pressed tightly against the memorial base instead of floating further out. And here's where things get really interesting. Over time, the awareness of this variety has grown thanks to coin forums, YouTube channels, expert blogs, and error coin reference books, which means more collectors are now actively looking for this variety, and that increased demand is what continues to drive the price higher, particularly for high-grade examples preserved in mint state red with minimal handling or environmental damage. It's also worth noting that some 1988 D pennies have shown up with additional striking errors such as off-center strikes, die clashes, or misaligned dies, and when one of those dramatic physical errors combines with the transitional reverse design, it creates an extremely rare hybrid error coin that is even more desirable and commands even higher premiums at auction. And while the transitional reverse is by far the most famous and valuable error associated with the 1988D penny. It's not the only one worth knowing about. Certain 1988D coins have been found with zinc rot or improper planchet preparation causing bubbling or blistering on the surface, and while these types of errors typically don't bring in huge sums on their own, when combined with other features like mint state preservation or the transitional reverse design, they can enhance the overall uniqueness and story of the coin, making it more attractive to a serious buyer. Another interesting aspect of this coin's journey to fame is that it was relatively unknown to the general public for years before collectors and researchers started identifying the transitional design markers and documenting them. So for a long time it's entirely possible that people were spending or tossing away 1988D pennies that could have been worth thousands, and that means the potential for discovery still exists today, and that's what makes this particular era coin so compelling. It's modern, it's accessible, and yet it's extremely rare and valuable, a perfect combination for coin collectors who enjoy the thrill of the hunt and the hope that something special is still out there waiting to be found. And let's not forget that the 1988D reverse of 1989 penny is also part of a broader pattern in U.S. coinage history where transitional errors and unexpected die pairings offer fascinating insight into how coins are made, how design changes are implemented, and how even the most subtle shifts in mint procedure can lead to some of the most valuable coins in existence. So whether you're a casual collector, a seasoned expert, or someone just beginning your journey into numismatics, take the time to look closely at every 1988D penny you come across. Check those initials on the reverse, study their placement under magnification, compare them with verified examples online, and if you suspect you've found one, it's well worth sending it in to be graded and authenticated. Because you just might be holding a $17,000 piece of U.S. minting history, a coin born from an overlooked transition, a split-second production decision, and an enduring mystery that continues to intrigue and reward collectors all over the world. The 1988D penny with the reverse of 1989 is proof that even in an age of high technology and precision, a simple mistake can create something truly extraordinary and possibly life-changing for the person lucky enough to find it.